All right. Hello. G'day. Just a little, where are we now? Just a little lesson here. The first one will be easier to understand. I went to a New World supermarket. I seen these Mushi protein bars, Mushi protein crisp bars. They were displayed with the price $2.49. So I thought, wow, that's good. I'll get 3 of them, and I got a bottle of water. So I knew I had $13 on my card to purchase these. I knew I could afford the bottle of water times 3 of these bars. So I go through the checkout. It declines because it came to $14.46, but they were labelled as so that means that they were mispriced. These bars were actually worth a little bit. They were worth $4.50 or something like that. Now here we go. Original price $4.49, but they were displayed at $2.49. My card declined. I tell the checkout operator, but it says that they're $2.49, and you know what goes on, and mispriced, and so nothing was going to happen. Maybe what was thought I would put them aside and get some other ones that I could afford. But there was a customer behind me. He knew the rules and regulations, and he said, you've got to sell them to him at that price. So he knew his rules. And this was putting them on the fritz a little bit, and then she agreed, yep, that's the rules and regulations. I think you're right. Manager comes over. He wasn't too pleased, like, what? You offered him the price that he seen on the label, and she said it's the rules and regulations. So that was good. Okay, I got to buy these for $2.49, what they were actually displayed for. Luckily, my card declined, and the guy behind me knew the rules and regulations and spoke up about them. Right, so that's an easy example. Now I'll tell you another example in a different area, mental health. So the story was my friend had their prescription ready to be picked up at the pharmacy, but their mistake, they got there too late and the pharmacy was closed. What could they do? They had no medication dose for that night. What could they do? The person panicked a little bit. They thought, what am I going to do? I got to get my medication. We didn't know. So medication, we're talking about clozapine and lorazepam. So the person was panicking. I thought, well, what can I do? How can I get help to get this nighttime dose that the person hasn't got? So I rang the urgent pharmacy. They said, look, we can't really help you. We don't dispense that kind of stuff. Go to the hospital. So I thought, well, yeah, the psychiatric ward there, Ward 27, they're the professionals that use these specialist medications. they give out clozapine and these drugs. Maybe they can help out and give this friend of mine the nighttime dose. I thought that's probably the right thing to do. I mean, I do know some other people on these medications. I perhaps could have gone and asked if they would lend my friend some of her for that dose. But anyway, so I go around there and I get talking to a psychiatric nurse there, and they talked to me. They began to understand the problem. Um, that I was concerned about clozapine titration levels, the levels lowering. Um, they said it's good. He makes a phone call to his supervisor, either there for the ward or a doctor, and tells them what's going on. And that person on the phone said, tell them to go to ED. That's the emergency department at the hospital. So, okay, we get in the car, we drive around, we go there. So I go to the administration at the front. I tell them my friend's name. So we're waiting there because the psychiatric nurse and the psychiatrists and psych nurses down at the ED, they'll help you out. So we assumed that we were going to get some help from a psychiatric nurse or doctor down at the ED. So we come in, we get this appointment to see the one of the duty ED nurses. By the way, we go in there. The place has got about 30 or 40 people that are having health problems serious enough to be in the ED. Man with a broken arm, some traumatic things going on there. So he told us to wait there. So we're waiting. About an hour goes by. Then the nurse comes out and sees me with my friend. So we go in there. Immediately, the nurse starts throwing on, the thing to check you on the air and on there, measuring certain things. And I'm saying, hey, wait a minute. We're not coming in here for a psych evaluation. Our problem is that my friend missed the chemist, missed the pharmacy where her blister pack was waiting because the shop closed. We're just interested if you can give us some help to give us a dose of, and I had the labeling information of the clozapine and lorazepam. Could you just help give us one night dose? Okay, so she understood what the problem was and what we were asking help for. Now I'll get to this, the point here. So anyway, she sits us down again, says, look, I'll help you later. And of course, they're very busy seeing lots of poor souls that need emergency help. So I look on there's a Bill of Rights up on the wall, and it's got all these rights about respect and right to information, right to respect, and all this kind of stuff. Read that a few times. I had a lot of waiting time to see what was going on in here in this ED department. I was considering going out and talk to them at the counter again, admin with some of the nurses, and they said, no, just stay here. You'll lose your place, and it'll all be wiped off. And if the nurse has promised you, I know that nurse, if they said they'll help you, they will. So just wait. So another 2 hours go by. It's getting up to midnight. And so I started standing up. Stood up for a while, and then we went to the back of the waiting room. A lot of people there. I stood up, got myself noticed. This nurse comes over to me and says, look, just after a few more patients, I've got to see a few more patients, and then we'll help you. Okay, so we waited a bit longer and longer. Nothing shows up. Go to the front desk. Apparently these nurses have gone off shift. They broke their promise to help her. But okay, so I go home. We go home. We look up on the internet about clozapine titration situation. Well, it turns out you can safely miss a dose of clozapine at night. You're only in real trouble if you miss a couple of doses for 48 hours. Why weren't we told that information a long, long time ago? Why did they not give us information about that? Would have saved a lot of trouble. Even when we went to the psych ward and the ED, they could have just told us, just, look, you're okay, just go home. We know about this. You're not in any risk or danger. Just go to the pharmacy tomorrow and just get back on schedule and start taking your clozapine again. Why didn't they tell us that at the psych ward? Why didn't the psych nurse tell us that? Why didn't the doctors who prescribed these medications, why didn't they inform us about that? Would have saved us a lot of trouble. Instead, we ended up observing the ED department at Wellington Hospital for 3 hours. Why didn't they inform us correctly about these medications? Why did it take someone like me who likes researching to find out the correct information? They're not fulfilling their duties with the Bill of Rights. They're not informing people, giving them the right information about these medications. Another example was they don't even inform you that when you're on clozapine and lorazepam at night, normally it's the side effects that you're taking in the morning, the breakfast pills, to stop all the extra movements and fits and whatever might go on from the side effects. They don't even inform you that, hey, this is what the real purpose of those morning meds are for, to do with the side effects of the serious medication at night. They don't inform you that. Why not? And then somebody maybe doesn't take their breakfast side effect pills and they're wondering, what the hell's going on with me? I'm feeling a bit unwell. They didn't realize that skipping the breakfast medication was the side effect pills. They didn't understand that because they were not informed properly. So they're not informing their patients. And in the case of the ED nurse, who promised us actually a couple of times that they were going to help us, why didn't she just say, look, the titration levels are fine, you'll be okay, just go home and go and get your script in the morning as you're going to do, and she didn't do that. Neither did the psych nurse. In fact, the psych nurse seemed to believe it was my friend's doctor, GP's fault for not providing this medication on time. It's like, what? No, it was our fault. We missed the pharmacy. So it's like there's this thing going on between the psychiatrists and psych nurses and the GPs, like they're competing over these clients. Like they're not happy when a GP gets a former client in the mental health service. It's like, what's going on there? So the point of this video is to show you that unfortunately nurses and doctors lie sometimes and break their promises. So where's the rules there? They're not going by the rules in the Bill of Rights for the New Zealand Health Consumers Bill of Rights. They're breaking the rules. They're not informing people either. They're breaking the rules. And then they just jump in when you go in there, they just jump in and trying to do something to you, and they haven't given you the chance to explain why they've come, why they've even come to the hospital to ask. They're not even waiting to hear you. They're just jumping right into their tests that they're told to do without actually saying, why are you here? What do you need help with? Can we help you? No, they're just jumping into it. And then they make promises and then don't keep them. It's very much like this. And the rights and rules around product displayed at a certain price, they have to sell it to you at that price. It's not okay just to say put those back and get another one that you can afford. If they've made the mistake, it's their fault. And in this case, with the medication dose, yeah, it was the client's fault. They missed the pharmacy because it closed, and it was their fault. But then you go for help, and you got the runaround, and nobody told you, hey, you don't even have to worry about missing that dose because they've studied all this, and there's only a problem when you stop your doses for 24, 48 hours, a longer period. The person's fine to skip the night dose as long as they go to the pharmacy in the morning and get back on the horse with it. So they failed to inform people. But I got justice today with these. But I'm probably not going to get justice with the medical system. Nobody's holding them accountable to the rights and rules and regulations that they've got in their own literature around the field. And I'm not saying this at the moment out of a personal thing. It's just speaks for itself. That's all I wanted to talk about. All right.